What up? What up?
I lied. I'm so sorry. I lied.
What did you mean?
We didn't have a song this week. I thought we would.
Oh no, we
I mean,
did
we have
not.
we have intro music that we can eventually play, and if there is a way for me to play it on the edited videos, I can do that. But we're not there yet. I don't know what happened. Look, I got it's been a busy week. Dubs is like half dead. You should be
Yeah,
thankful
this is
he's here.
another flu game for me. If you couldn't
You should
hear it
be
in the
thankful.
old vocal cords,
You should say thank you, Dubs, for being here.
I
We
spent
appreciate
most of
your.
my day in bed yesterday, wishing I could spend most of my day in bed today. That bed
We
right
almost
there.
called it. Almost called it, but said, "Know what? We gotta talk stupid bowl."
I gotta give
Had to happen,
something. I gotta give something to the people.
100%.
Appreciate everybody
And
tuning in.
it's if you do us a favor, make sure you like the stream, share it out, retweet it, tell your friends to subscribe.
Give me a shout out
Uh,
in the chat too if any, we have any video or audio errors. I'm trying to correct things as we move over to our new platform and whatnot. And not all the
it's all a
kinks are
work.
ironed out. So feel
It's a
free to
work in
give a shout
progress.
out in the chat. But I
We were
think we're
gonna.
up and moving today.
Hey, we're cooking with gas. I was going to invite Jeremy on this week, but because you're under the weather, I think we're going to do a shorter show tonight anyway. Although every time we talk about the show, we always end up with like 50 items, is what happens. We will start a chat like a day before the show, usually, and it's like, these are the 11 things that I want to talk about. And then Dubs will be like, these are the 11 things I want to talk about. And none of them are the same. And then we have like 38 items to get to, and it's just never enough. Never enough time for everything, but I'm happy to do it. Today we've got obviously Super Bowl recap. We're going to talk about the nonsense that happened, and my favorite post Super Bowl thing ever happened. It involves
Sean Rocker.
two former MLB players. Oh, I love that so much. We're going to talk about some. The Four Nations kicks off tonight. Um, Canada plays. We're going to talk about NHL teams, some teams that are in probably best position in the next 5 to 10 years. Do a little kind of not Mount Rushmore deal, but some nice and fun stuff. But obviously, the biggest story is Super Bowl's over. Football's done, buddy. We're done. Unless
So
you're a draft
sad.
nerd like Jeremy.
It is Draftsmith season.
ESPNDraft.net.
Make sure to kick over to the Sportsocracy page for any Draftsmith updates. They're going to be doing a ton. Jeremy obviously knocks
Already
it out of the
has
park with that stuff.
already has Titans mock 3 round mock up today. Dropped just before we came live. Expect a boatload of those
He's
coming in
talking
the next few
position
days.
rankings today too on on the live
Yeah,
show.
absolutely. He was crushing it. Him and Tank were also under the weather. They got that NOLA flu and came. All right, let's talk about the game. What'd you think of the game? What happened? How you feel about it? Obviously, it was a. The score doesn't tell the real story of that game. That was the most thorough
It was the
ass kicking.
full Bane meme where it was like, I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body. That's what the
MVT
Chiefs,
says
the
football.
Eagles did to the Chiefs the entire game. It was a fucking beatdown, a slaughter. Football ended 3 weeks ago for Utah.
I mean, it ended like week 6 for us, but it is what it is.
No,
I
it,
mean,
it
look,
did, and then we got Drake May starting. And then
that's true. And then we were way too excited.
the
Gonna
Kool Aid
happen.
had been drank, passed out. We passed out from the Kool Aid.
I'm sorry if you don't. I just want to take a second there. If you don't homer for your guy, I was thinking about like my worst sports takes because I read a thread about Nick Wright's worst sports takes, his
There's a
coldest
lot of them,
takes.
a heap, a whole heck of a
It was
heap.
a thread on his Eagles takes. One of them included Saquon Barkley isn't going to be any good for the Eagles this year.
Yeah,
You just broke some records.
anybody
Anyway,
thinking that is insane.
so it just got me thinking about like some of my
How
worst
those
takes,
were,
and
that was a evident. Kelsey quitting he quit on the team in like the first quarter, second quarter.
I
It did
got. I'll
not
tell
take
you. I'll
long.
tell you when he quit. No, it didn't. He got beat down. All of my like really bad takes, like my just horrendous ones that aren't based in anything like real, are all based on me supporting my guy. Like I was a firm believer that Mac Jones could figure it out, and like that was my bad. I own that one,
I
but
did
like
that too.
what do you want me to do? You want me to say no? I don't believe in McCorkle. Like he was pretty good as a rookie. We were like maybe we got him, and then he wasn't, and then we were like that's a bad take. But it's anyway. It's Nick Wright's atrocious.
He's
I
a
don't have
clown.
that many bad takes that people would be like, hey, you need a thread dedicated to all your bad takes on this one team only. Pretty bad. Eagles crushed.
Dominated.
Kelsey did quit.
Kelsey
They
quit.
didn't blitz.
They didn't blitz a single time. They rushed four guys. The first time in Super Bowl history that's been done. They had constant pressure the entire night. 6 sacks, almost tied a Super Bowl record, all by rushing just four guys.
Your cat's making a guest appearance, and I love that.
Shout out Doc in the background.
I'm just hanging out. He's just like, I'm gonna just chill here.
Wait till he gets to
Yeah.
talking. He's gonna do his own set. This cat does not shut the fuck up.
I love it. I love it. There was a point where Holmes threw a short cross to Kelsey, and he got lit up, like absolutely destroyed.
By Gardner
And
Johnson.
he got back up, and
Yeah.
it looked like he wanted to throw Nux.
And
But
Gardner
he thought
Johnson had his
better of it.
hands behind his back.
Yeah,
The guy that
he was ready.
instigates with everybody in the NFL had his own teammates punching him in the head. Shout out Michael Thomas.
He was like, I'm gonna let you do what you think you need to do here, but you're gonna take the penalty. And Kelsey thought better of it, but he walked by him. But you could tell in that moment you were like, I think they're cooked. They're in the head. Like Eagles were in their heads immediately,
and
like,
they knew it too.
immediately
The
in their
Eagles
heads.
knew. You could tell it was a focal point in film rooms and everything this week for the Eagles. Like, do not get baited into anything. We're not going to let the refs beat us. We're not going to let it happen. Do not give them any room for any 50-50 calls. Go out there and
No,
dominate,
nothing.
and that's what they did. Eagles four. We'll get back to the Super Bowl, but just through the four playoff games for the Eagles, they averaged 36 points per game, held opponents to 19, had 6 sacks in the Super Bowl, one away from the record, like I said, averaged 204 rushing yards per game. They only lost one time after the bye week, and that was with Kenny Pickett at quarterback for most of the game against Washington, who was in the
Yeah,
NFC Championship. So, uh,
yeah.
a dominant season from the Eagles start to finish. And I don't that was the most human we've seen the Chiefs look in what, 5 years? 6 years? They
You know
looked
what?
awful.
But this is
Every bit
this is
of
what
that
happened
team
when they
looked
lost to
awful.
Tampa.
It was the
When they
exact
lost to
same
Tampa.
thing. They had to have been having Vietnam flashbacks, like looking in the mirror of the Tampa loss, especially with Brady on commentary, which will always be
Yeah,
Pat Mahomes' kryptonite. It can't win with him in the
loses
building.
Brady.
Just can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Mahomes looked completely uncomfortable the entire
There were no
time.
superpowers there. The
No.
D line was
Uh,
able to generate a ton of pressure on him with just four guys. Mahomes was so put off by it. We mentioned it like a couple, I think it was the second quarter even. Like it was early. It looked like he was just running into pressure. He was so scared and like, yes, the line wasn't holding up, but he was deer in headlights back there, just running around looking for somebody to be open. Juju wasn't open. Hollywood wasn't open. D Hop, if he was, he dropped it. Like the only weapon that looked effective on the field for them was Xavier Worthy, and it was when Pat was stat padding at the
Not-
end of the game.
I was going to say, but not really. It's
Not
really
really.
unfortunate.
Not when it mattered.
Xavier Worthy gets lumped into the but he had a pretty good game, and it was like, sure, he had a good game the same way Xavier Legette had some good games, the same way that Adam Thielen had some good games. Sorry, I'm picking on Carolina Panthers. It's the same way that like Joe Milton had a good game. It's like it doesn't really count. Like that doesn't count. Like the bomb. Someone was I forget who. It might have been Dove Kleiman, also a clown. Posted. It's a shame that no one's going to remember this amazing throw from Pat Mahomes, and it was the bomb to Worthy when the game was already cooked, and they had already given Sirianni and his punchable face the Gatorade bath, and like the backups were in. It's like no,
He
we're not
didn't.
going
They
to
didn't
remember
score a
the throw.
touchdown until they were what, down 34.
Yes.
Like Come on.
Game
You
was
were
close.
never
You're
competitive
out,
for a
man.
second in that game.
You're
You
out.
23 first half yards from Patrick Mahomes and the two-time defending Kansas City Chief. Like,
Best part about
you were
that
awful.
wasn't the offense. The offense, we knew the Philly defense was going to come to play. We talked about it as a game changer. We thought Saquon
I
would be a
told you
bigger
statistically I
difference
didn't know how the
maker.
Chiefs were going to win this game, and that's what it looked like. Like, there was
I'm
never a
surprised
chance
that
they were going to win.
everybody talked about how Spags is always like this wizard, and he's going to come up with these different. He didn't come up with anything.
Didn't have
Although
Dick.
I'll
He
tell you
stopped
what happened.
Saquon a little bit.
Yeah, but that didn't matter, and
Didn't
that's why
matter.
you play Jalen. That's why you play
I mean,
Jalen
that's
Hurts in
the
your captain
strategy. We
spot.
said that was how you were going to have to try to win, was just stack the box
Yeah,
on Saquon and make Jalen Hurts beat you. It just turns out
and
he
then he did.
did, and your offense was inept. They
He
didn't
did
show up.
so
You would have been
bad.
better off if they didn't come.
70, didn't he have like 77 something rushing yards? It was ridiculous. Whatever he
Yeah.
had, he did it. Like, I'm not saying it was all him. There were some incredible catches. Skinny Batman with the beauty catch when the game actually mattered. Devonta Smith doing good things. AJ Brown had a couple of nice grabs. They didn't have guys dropping balls that were necessary. Everybody caught the passes they were supposed to
They
catch.
didn't need to do much. They never had to be aggressive. They were just winning from the get go, and they never turned around. The second that Cooper DeJean the pick six happened, that was basically ball game. The Eagles were completely locked in. The Chiefs were demoralized at that point already. Patrick Mahomes is out there running for his life. And I saw people blaming the line. Yeah, that they did not have a good performance. I'm not going to sit here and tell
Yeah,
you they
Joe
did.
Tooney's a problem at left tackle. He's not. That's not
He's
where he
not a left
plays.
tackle. He's playing out of
It's not his
position.
position.
He's an all-pro
Yeah,
left guard, one of the best of the last 10, 20
don't
years.
disagree.
But and you have a couple other good players. Like I think Jawan Taylor's good when he's not getting penalties. I think Trey Smith is good. I think Creed Humphrey's fantastic. Like
Where were the adjustments, though? Where were the
none. There was
adjustments?
none.
None.
That's where
And
I was getting to.
where
I
does
was
this
like, if you
where does this
realize,
fall?
you should have been like, oh, they're just sending four. Like maybe we had a little bit more protection, trying to get Pat going. Oh, you tried to do that. Kelsey decided to give up on blocks and not finish plays because that's the type of guy he is. But I don't know, man. That was a piss
Crushed.
poor performance from one of the best teams in the NFL.
It was a boring game, to be honest, but
It
I
was. It
enjoyed
was
it.
awful.
Enjoyed it.
I had a
I
good
enjoyed
time
watching.
watching them lose. I didn't get. Brady had to have been at least somewhat happy up there. Vic
Yeah, he was.
Fangio, first win against Patrick Mahomes. The way you do it, basically being the main driving factor for winning a Super Bowl, at least
Crushed
that
him.
one game.
He
He
crushed
was
him.
so good. Again, the fact you didn't blitz a
And,
single time, got as much pressure as you did, and completely ruined the Chiefs' game plan. We talked last week about like how good the Eagles were at stopping plays at and behind the line of scrimmage, which is where Kansas City has thrived, getting yards after catch, those screen plays they love to draw up. There's none of that. There's
no
absolutely
chance.
none of that. They only ran man on 2 plays. Everything else was zone. They just sat back in
Can
zone,
we?
rushed four, and the Chiefs made no adjustment to beat it. Whether they could or not with the personnel they had, because I think they were completely outgunned talent wise, you
I
still
don't.
didn't
It's
make
bad.
any adjustments.
MVT with coming from the top rope. Imagine putting that pregame outfit on after the game and having to walk back out looking like Disco died.
Great line.
Can we talk about the MVP for a minute?
Should have gone to somebody
It's
else. Is
it's
that what
not
you're gonna
Jalen.
say? It wasn't Jalen Hurts.
Yes,
It
it
should have been
wasn't Jalen
somebody.
Hurts.
It should have been the whole
Sweat.
defense collectively. I would have given it to
Sweat had
Josh Sweat. I would have been fine with it
Josh
going
Sweat
to
had
Cooper DeJean.
2.5 sacks, and he was a beast. He was absolutely unaccounted for by any Kansas City player.
Yep.
Cooper DeJean had a pick six.
It was
I
lights
forget
out
who
the
else.
rest of the game.
Someone else had 2 sacks, and they were like just absolutely. Someone had a fumble recovery.
Quinyon
Like,
Mitchell had no like stats, but was just an absolute clamp the entire game. The fact
I
that
just don't.
this speaks to Howie Roseman, who I think is the best GM in the league, and I don't know if you can even really dispute it at this point. The guy turned over an entire team, won 2 Super Bowls in 7 years. There was only 4 guys on this year's team that were on the 2017 team. 4 guys.
Yeah, it's a
And
big turnover.
it's a huge turnover, and the fact that the amount of defenders on that team that are on rookie contracts, it's insane the amount they're able to just flip and constantly stay good. Um, but they where I was going with that. Sorry, the Eagles, like their weakest part of their team last year was the secondary. It cost them time in and time out. Darius Slay looked old. They had no depth to it. And then all of a sudden you go out and you hit on two picks like Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell, and all of a sudden and sign Saquon. Boom, boom, boom. You win a Super Bowl. And definitively. More definitive Super Bowl, Seattle, Denver, or Sunday, Eagles, Chiefs.
No, it was Sunday.
I think so too. I think the score, like obviously, is going to look closer because the stat padding at the end, and like the Seahawks Broncos maybe unraveled quicker with the snap over the dude's head, but there was never a second where Kansas City looked like they were in control.
Yeah, they were not even close. Not even a little bit close. Last defensive player to win a MVP, I think, was Von Miller.
I think that's right. Before that, it was
Yeah,
Malcolm
it's Von Miller
Smith,
in
who
16
nobody will know.
and 14. Yeah. Dexter Jackson won with that Buccaneers team. Was that the Warren Sapp year?
Yeah.
The Gruden win with
Yeah, Joyner,
and
I'm
of course
sick
Ray
too.
Lewis won.
I got the plague as well.
He's got the play. I don't have shit. We're supposed to get like covered in snow and ice tonight, so
We are too. We're supposed to get like a foot of snow on Saturday too. We're getting hammered.
Yeah.
February. By the way, sidebar. February fucking sucks. It's the worst month of the year, without a doubt.
Tier list, F tier. F tier.
It's the
on
worst
tier list.
month, and you can't tell me it's
February.
not. There's a reason it has the least amount of days.
It's brutal.
It sucks. It's cold as fuck. You're already done with winter. It seems like every year that's when all of the snow is saved for, and you just get hit day after day after day.
Yeah, no good.
It's like a foot and a half
any
of snow
final-
out there. They're gonna add another fucking 2 feet of snow this week. Like,
Any final Super Bowl thoughts before we put football away and let Jeremy and NFLDraft.net take over?
I don't think so. I think we kind of covered it.
I just want to let you know that they removed the end racism and Cooper DeJean immediately.
Immediately.
The white cornerback. Got a
Jackie
pick six.
Robinson goes out and gets a pick six. It's crazy. It's that damn groundhog.
Mhm.
Oh, another
It is-
sidebar. We should be able to bet on Groundhog's Day. We should have prop bets, like Super Bowl level
You
prop
probably
bets.
can.
I need
they
them
have-
more readily available. Go all out. I need DraftKings to have a page and a half like they did for the Super Bowl.
Remember when they did that really poor taste 9/11 day?
Yeah. Yeah. That's never
Shut
gonna
up,
hit.
DraftKings. Let's maybe not do that one. Stupid groundhogs.
Those
All
would go
right,
hard though. Prop bets. I just need more ridiculous prop bets to bet on all the time.
You just need like you sound like you know who does that. It's the English.
Yeah.
London,
I mean, I'm
London,
telling you,
that's
I want to
any
get
fucking-
into darts. So I might need to start getting into more.
There was a
English
time where it
sports.
was like the Queen was like, "I'm going to do a speech," and they're like, "What color is the Queen's outfit going to be?" Whenever there's a baby that's going to be born, they're like, "What do you think the name's going to be?" Like, I don't know, Edward, and they're like, "Probably." Plus,
Might have.
350.
Yeah, see, I want that. I want that for more stuff.
That's what they do. They love it. They're like, I don't know, would you want to bet on what kind of gravy they're gonna have at Christmas dinner? Like that's what they'll do. I'm like, come on, man, give it to me. It's readily available too. You just walk down to the bookie. They're like on every corner.
They're all
It's way worse.
They're
than
all
this here.
bald and super ugly.
Ocho parlays. Oh, the most Ocho parlay.
I got a most
We're gonna
Ocho
do-
for you today. I'll get to it.
You want to do that? Okay.
It's another one I
Let's
gotta
talk Four
pull up.
Nations. Four Nations is happening. Do you care yet?
No,
I'm trying to care.
I care less and
This
less
is what-
every time I have to open NHL 25 and close it off on my screen.
This is what happens if this tournament goes well for Canada. Canadians will be very happy about the tournament. If it doesn't go well for Canada, we'll call it a fake tournament. This is what we do. It's not great. It's not great. Let's talk about these our NHL teams best position 5 to 10 years, kind of where the criteria lies, and then let's
Yep.
rank them out. You had a good list. I tried to Towel. I did. MVT. I am still trying. I'm gonna watch a little bit tonight. I'm gonna try and get into it. The scoring is stupid. The layout is
I think
stupid.
all of it's
I hope
stupid.
I hope that they like figure out a way to market this better, but the NHL is like just slightly above Major League Baseball when it comes to marketing something well. And that is to say they don't do it well. Like even a little bit. It's awful.
I feel like they could just take the week and a half off and I wouldn't notice.
Of course they wouldn't. All right. Let's talk about this. What are the criteria for this list? How we decided to make it?
Yeah, so
Your
I
teams.
this kind of came about just this morning. I was looking at rosters in the NHL and like who they got in the pipeline coming up, and I was like, you know what? We should do a ranking of the basically the best situations moving forward in the NHL over the next 5 to 10 years. What teams do you feel the best about? As an example for you, Stephen Tao's Capitals, while they are fantastic right now, hunt for greatness, all that. Like Ovi's fantastic, going for the record. I don't think they're going to
Five
be
years from
great
now
in
though?
5 years. At least they have. They maybe they'll turn it around. Some free agent signings, good hits in the draft. Like who knows? But as of right now, I don't see a
Today the
whole
outlook is
long
not great.
future. Whereas if I look at somebody like Edmonton, who has the two best players in the league under contract, or two of the top three at least, uh,
Yep.
I feel a lot better about that team moving forward. I took rookies and things into consideration. Uh, so I we'll start with the Oilers. I had them on that list. Edmonton,
Yep.
two best players in the league under contract. They always seem to add line mates for them. I think as long as you have those guys, you can put something around it and it's going to work. Same for this next team, Colorado. I think it's the same sort of situation with Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCarr. I think those guys are so good as long as you're drafting and not, making moves at the deadline like they did and continuing to look forward because you're going to be in the playoffs regardless with those guys. Like it's, I think their future is just as bright as Edmonton's. I think those guys are going to be hanging around the top of the Western Conference for as long as those players are there.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go with your Canadians. I think they're in a
There's a
fantastic
lot.
position. This is the first one that's not really super competitive right now. Not to say you're not. You're playoff bound right now or
No,
close to it.
they're plucky right now, but they're
It's a
not
good
gonna
word for
do
it.
it. They're not gonna make any noise. They're a pain in the ass for everyone that plays them. I like Slavkovsky's coming around.
Lane Hudson's a
Cole
demon.
Caulfield's great. Hudson's great.
Obviously, always have a
Suzuki's
good
great.
good goalie room.
Demidov coming is going to be scary. If people haven't seen the highlights,
He's
go
nasty.
see the highlights. Yeah, he's so good.
Doug Demidov with the Dimsdale Demidov.
Yeah, he's going to crush. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that I look forward to seeing where they go.
I think they're on the brighter side. They're going to be the top of the conference team in a couple years. Uh,
Yeah,
Detroit Red Wings, same sort of situation. I think they're just a little bit further ahead of Montreal. A lot of those guys are already there and have a couple years in the system. Guys like Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond, Mort Sider. I think they have a lot of young talent that is going to be core stars there for years to come, and they seem to, the easier plan. They keep drafting well and getting these guys coming up. They're going to be built for a while.
they're doing well.
I think
Yeah,
they're one of the safest ones on this list.
I agree.
New Jersey Devils. This one,
Super young core.
super young core. They've got the Hughes brothers. Obviously, they've had some good scoring with Jesper Bratt, some other guys there. Just excuse my sick brain. They've been a goalie away for a few years now, and if they're able to get that goalie of the future, a true answer in net, I think New Jersey's going to be dangerous for a while. As long as they can keep those guys around, this is all dependent on a lot. Obviously, we're looking 5 or so years in the future, but
Yeah.
I think New Jersey's up there too. Dallas, I think, is sort of in the same boat as New Jersey, whereas they already have a lot of guys up there. They have some young guys that are coming up right now that are gonna, push the needle a little bit. Wyatt Johnson's obviously fantastic. They've got
He is.
Stankoven, obviously a fantastic team already. Franchise goalie and Ottinger. I really like Dallas.
The
Obviously, they
Otters.
were my
Otters
Stanley
guy.
Cup pick last year.
Financially invested.
Yeah, Tao, see next week for the worst situations over the next 5 to 10 years. I bet the Penguins are going to be on there. So will my Bruins.
Oh. Canada's
Um,
already up.
Next, I got Chicago. I guess this one's pretty simple as well. Connor Bedard, tons of cap room, basically have the ability to build solely around that and whatever else you start drafting at the top tier because there's obviously not been very good the last couple of years. I don't think that's going to turn around at least this year or next. But I think they are set up for a long run. They have got to turn the image of the franchise around. The best way to do that is to start winning. I think they're going to be determined to do that. It's a big market team. I'm not really worried about Chicago.
So we are 4 minutes into the Four Nations face-off, and we have our first goal. Canada's up 1-0. It's Nathan McKinnon,
Shocker.
assisted by Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid.
That's awesome.
This is why they wanted. Like, if they had marketed this better, I'd be all in.
Yeah.
But it's like, you did such a poor job. God, the NHL sucks. Anyway, continue.
It was just like that nice Amazon show that they promoted a ton this season. They're great at it. San Jose Sharks.
I like the Sharks.
I do too. I think Celebrini's fantastic. I think Smith's fantastic. They're obviously
They got a lot of young guys.
Same thing with
up.
Chicago.
Yeah.
They're going to have a couple more top picks, but I think the amount of youth, cap space, like you could trade for a lot of shit with those guys. I think San Jose is going to be back in the Western Conference playoffs here in a couple of years.
I tend to agree.
They're such a joke last year, but it's going to be worth it in the end.
Comedy. Pure comedy.
And then the last on this list, which I think is where I'm going to rank them, we can slide right into that after, is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
I think it's because they just continue to fumble it every time, but they always have a plethora of young talent because they're always picking high in the draft. And I just feel like I've seen this song and dance before. They've had exciting forwards and number one overall defenseman where they were like, "Hey, this is the time where Buffalo's going to break out. We're going to be a good team now." And then the last 2 or 3 years, I've been hearing that, and like again, you keep drafting high, it's just the Sabres.
They deserve it. They deserve the appreciation. They just never
Terry
follow through.
Pegula's bastard son.
Remember when they had Ryan O'Reilly? LOL.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a whole bunch of guys from the Golden Knights too? They had like 2 or 3 guys on the Golden Knights that won.
Yeah, Tao, it's NHL.
It's bad.
Doyle's right.
They
have the worst marketing. MLB is close, but it's
no, MLB is worse.
It's the NHL. You think MLB's worse?
Yes. We have Mike Trout for 8-something years, and they never marketed the guy outside of Los Angeles. What are we even doing?
I'm not saying the MLB's good. I think they're all. They're both horrific.
The NHL is bad. It is slightly above MLB.
I go the other
slightly,
way.
not much, like this much. And I'll tell you why. It's because of Canada. They market in Canada. They don't do it well, but they market here. They don't have to do it here. They just put the hockey on. This is the funny. I'm going to complete aside. My job, I sell AV equipment.
Propane accessories.
So people ask me for all sorts of different things, and we do like full scale like events and stuff. Someone is coming in and they're hosting a hospitality suite in the building, and her boss asked her to have a TV so they could watch the Canada USA game on. They didn't need to market that. There's no marketing to that guy. That guy's going to watch TV even while he's supposed to be entertaining people. the partner at a financial firm, and he's supposed to be entertaining newly graduated students. He's going to be watching the hockey game. That's what he wants to do. They don't need to market up here. They need to market in the U.S. They don't know how. They spent 100 years trying to make the desert work, and then they're like, "Yeah, but Florida's working," and it's like, not really. It was a long time where you could pick up like Panthers tickets for like $7.
Yeah.
It used to be a
They're
laughing
just
stock.
winning now.
They're winning now. It took a long time though to get there, and winning will cure
You
a
want
lot.
people to be in
Tampa
your
also-
building? Win.
It's like I don't know. I think that Major League Baseball does such a poor job with marketing. If you look at the feeds of individual leagues, you can tell who cares about what they're trying to push out and who is just trying to push out one thing. Major League Baseball is trying to pump Shohei Ohtani down your throat 24/7.
Yeah.
And I understand why, but it's not the only amazing like give me Mookie, give me Aaron Judge, give me Vlad, give me Tatis Jr., give me Ronald Acuna, give me like any number of guys, give me Rafi, give me like there are like 32 teams in Major League Baseball, and every one of them has at least a guy that you could promote and be like, look at this incredible play, and they never do that. The NHL will focus on everyone. They just haven't got the buy-in. It sucks. Completely went off topic, but that is what it is.
It's alright, I was caught up in chat. They're talking about cheap tickets. Tao said Panthers tickets are still $7 in Charlotte. Doyle said he went to Game 5 Heat Knicks for like $11. That's crazy.
Amazing.
Would you buy them like outside the arena from some fucking guy? Like that's a playoff game. Marlins game for $2. I went to a Sox game for $7 once. That was when we were real bad. I think it was a Bobby Valentine year.
Oh, Tal mentioned Anthony Rendon. I do need to point out there is a website. It's my new favorite website. I can't put it in chat because we'll get banned, but it's in the Discord on the MLB side. And it tells you how many, where'd it go? It's the Anthony Rendon theft tracker. And it tells you how many games he's missed, 451 and counting. He's been with the Angels for 708 games, and he's only played 257.
That's crazy, Doyle. I need to connect. Yeah, Anthony Rendon is like I saw somebody tweet it today. So he's like the guy at work that just doesn't do anything. Like you're always just get stuck working with him. He doesn't do shit. And he just never gets fired somehow.
Sucks. It's impossible to get fired. That's why.
And he's like, I hate my job. You're like, why are you here? Why are you coming here? I feel like you come here just to make my life shitty. Like, well, do you hate me?
You don't need.
Do you hate me more than you
Doesn't
hate
need to
this
be that
job?
way.
If you don't hate me, I suggest you just quit. That'd be awesome. He missed more games than Embiid. That's fucking hilarious.
That's wild. That's wild. I mean, it is what it is. They're all bad.
Let's rank these up real quick. And I have a fun MLB Ocho before we get to Stone Stories, so we'll get out of here. Calling it early tonight.
All right.
So I got Sabres last. I got.
Agreed.
I think Chicago after them. Like I think they're 7. If you have an issue with that,
No, I don't disagree. I think that they're probably there. They have a well to go. They just got Bedard. Like
exactly.
They
Like a lot of these other teams have more things that I think are going to be around.
They need more time. They're going to be like McDavid wasn't a thing for a few years, right?
Right.
Give it time. Give it time. So I'm good with that. I'm totally fine with that.
I think next I'm probably gonna go Dallas, just because they already have basically everything. Like their bullets are all in the NHL.
I would agree with that.
They're young, and I think that they have one of the best rosters out of the teams I listed right now. But their longevity might be a little shorter than some of these other ones, so I'm gonna put them at 6.
I would agree with that.
5, I think I go Devils. I'd even be okay switching the two, but I think that's where they are. I think they're kind of paired with Dallas, and I think the next two teams I have are kind of paired together with Detroit and Montreal. I think they're very similar in what they're doing. They're just a little
I'd
different
agree with that.
time frame. So I think I'm going to
I'd
go
agree with that.
the 5
Dallas,
Dallas. Oh, well, 6
4
Dallas.
New Jersey,
6 Dallas.
6 Dallas,
5 New Jersey.
5 New Jersey.
4, I'm going to go Montreal. 3, I'm going to say Detroit. And then I'll go Colorado, Edmonton by default.
I don't disagree with that. I think Detroit's well positioned. I think Colorado and Edmonton you can probably interchange. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
McDavid and Draisaitl and McKinnon and Makar are two incredible pairs. They've both gotten pretty deep into the playoffs with what I would describe as at best mediocre goaltending. And they've figured out their role players, and they're all under contract for a while. Nobody's going away from those guys. It's also in a weird way two destination places for wily vets who will be willing to take the minimum to go on
Just
a run.
to go win, right?
You're like, if like Corey Perry is not playing in Edmonton for the love of the game. He is hoping he gets another run at a cup.
Like, oh, roster's a
why
little
he's-
thin. We don't have a third line winger, but probably find somebody who wants to make a cup run.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
you'll find
partially
a
what
bit.
I meant when I was saying, like, they can just find, like, as long as you have guys like that, you're going to be able to find pieces to
Paging
put.
Phil Kessel.
Exactly.
Paging Phil Kessel.
I mean, look at what they've done in Edmonton thus far. They always have some sort of patchwork winger coming in there to play with those guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Right, get us a Stone story and let's get out of here.
I got this real quick MLB thing. It was a strange rule of the day. Figured it worked out for the most Ocho. No person shall be allowed on the playing field during a game except players and coaches in uniform, managers, news photographers authorized by the home team, umpires, officers of the law in uniform, and other employees of the home club. The home team shall provide police protection sufficient to preserve order if a person or persons entering the playing field during a game interfere in any way with play. The visiting team may refuse to play until the field is cleared. So it's like, okay, you didn't clear the field enough. I'm holding out. If the field is not cleared in a reasonable length of time, which shall in no case be less than 15 minutes after the visiting team's refusal to play, the umpire-in-chief may forfeit the game to the visiting team. So if you're able to streak on the field for 15 minutes, basically the visiting team can be like, forfeit. They forfeited. We win.
The moment the guy gets on the field, you'd be like, "It's not clear. I'm protesting," and then you just start the clock.
100%.
I feel like this is an episode of like 24.
You could game
Like
the
we
system
start,
and just
we
get...
start
Like, remember that dude that was running for the Braves? I don't know if he still does.
the freeze.
The freeze, yes. The only thing that was in my head was the flash. I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah,
the freeze. Like, you get somebody like that, where you just, like, go out there and play keep away for 15 minutes. I'll pay you however much. And, like, we need this win to get in the pennant. And I'm going to invoke... It's like invoking parlay in the pirate world. Like, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it 15 minutes. I'm calling this game.
Parlay. Unreal.
Crazy. I just thought that was wild. And then I got a Stone story for us. Remember I was talking about Sam Squanches and how, like, people should be held accountable for investigating things like that. Well, somebody has. Good old British Columbia armchair. 57-year-old man had his Sasquatch hunting come up in a divorce decision. His wife told the court that he went on a camping trip to Vancouver Island earlier that month when she came to the divorce court in search of a mythical ape-like creature. The respondent was he brought along an ex-girlfriend, by the way, on this trip. He's married. He's chilling. I'm sure you're a married man. How'd your wife take it if you were like, hey, I'm going to hunt Bigfoot, and then also found out that you were with your ex doing so? Straight to the divorce court.
Yep.
He told the court he went on a camping trip the month before. Oh, sorry. read that line already. The respondent was extremely upset by this, talking about his wife. Before the claimant returned home, she fired off a text to him declaring that the marriage was over and she will never change her mind. Husband's claim for spousal support also hinged on him being unable to work due to a mishap that occurred during a previous Sasquatch outing years earlier. So this guy got hurt like 4 years earlier because he slipped off of the stairs at the village he was staying at, down like flight of stairs, like 5 or 6 of them. It went right down on his back and broke his vertebrae. And he's been like, "Oh, I can't work. I can't work." His wife's been supporting him and his Sasquatch hunting. Can't fuck around with that. Baird was ultimately not convinced that the judge, Baird, was not convinced the husband was left totally disabled by the accident or that he could not earn income from employment or some kind of other, partly because of his ongoing Sasquatch-related endeavors. The wife had proof of him camping, fishing, hunting, riding quads, motorcycles, snowmobiles, and other forms of transportation, and exploring remote areas of British Columbia in search of a Sasquatch. They said you will be receiving no money from your wife. And you, sir, are a piece of shit.
Why would you? This sounds like he just wanted to go on vacation.
It sounds like he wanted to go fuck his ex-girlfriend. He's like, "No, I'm hunting Bigfoot. You know I hunt Bigfoot. I hunt Bigfoot all the time."
We have Bigfoot at home. Stop hunting the Sasquatch.
I'm just glad people are being held accountable for nonsense.
Absolutely need to hold him accountable.
I'm shocked that it took that long for the wife. 8 years from his injury to the time she finally divorced him. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Good day to you.
If I'm ever with a woman and she's supporting the household while I'm out hunting Sasquatch, like, tell her to divorce me. I'm clearly not. I'm not doing it right. I need a wake up call. I need a wake up call.
Hashtag priorities.
Yeah.
You got no priorities.
No, none. You don't have a
single
priority. Like, yeah, I'm going away for weeks at a time to hunt Bigfoot.
Mythical creatures, not entirely sure they exist. Don't worry, I'm renting jet skis and quads.
Yeah, she's like, just say you're doing drugs. You could just say you're doing drugs.
Would have been easier.
It would have been way easier.
Just put on the MetaQuest. It's fine. You can hunt Sasquatch at home. All right, that's going to do it for this week.
Sasquatch hunting video games. You can play with your friends.
You got to be. Play with your friends.
Speaking of, check the streams.
Not the streams.
If you want to watch some pirate shit,
gotta go pirate shit.
Streams. I'm pirating.
Go check out Dub's Stone Sports Podcast on Twitch. Don't forget to share the YouTube out. Like it, follow it, watch it, put it on at work. We need to get that watch time up. That's our next big hurdle. That and 1,000 subs. We're getting close. Getting close. Creeping up. And then, next week, worst positions for NHL.
Yeah, we're going to do the worst situations, the opposite of what we did today. Pretty excited.
We may have Jeremy on to talk some draft miss in the coming weeks. I don't know if he's going to be next week or the week after, but we'll figure something out.
Whatever.